What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video we have the keys to the all-new Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 sitting alongside the all-new Ford Bronco Wildtrak with the Sasquatch package. Huge shout out and thank you to Carolina Auto Direct. They're providing both of these off-road SUVs for today's video. Definitely check out their website linked down below. So these are pretty much the fully loaded vehicles that you can get, and they are direct competitors for sure. The Raptor is coming soon for this, but of course that is not in existence just yet. But we're gonna basically check these out in the interior and exterior and the engines, and then drive them back to back to see which one is better. Starting underneath the hood, over on the 392, of course, this is a Hemi V8 squeezed into the little Rubicon. And this engine is pumping out 470 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 is around 4.5 seconds, which is nuts for an SUV like this. Over on the Bronco, we have the bigger 2.7 liter twin turbocharged EcoBoost V6 engine with 310 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. This is a little bit slower. 0 to 60 is closer to that 6-second mark. The Bronco and Wrangler both weigh in around 5,200 pounds, give or take a couple hundred pounds if you go with the two-door or the manual transmissions. Both vehicles have two-door and manuals available, and of course several different engine options. But looking at both of these SUVs, they're both sitting on 35-inch tires. As far as the approach angle for the Jeep, it's 44.5 degrees. The Bronco is 43.2 degrees, so slightly not as good. Breakover angle is 26.3 degrees over on the Bronco, and it's only 22.6 degrees on the Jeep. And then departure angle is 37 degrees on the Bronco with 37.5 over on the Jeep. As far as ground clearance, we're looking at 10.3 inches on the Jeep and 11.5 on the Bronco. So as you can see, they're both within a few degrees and a few inches of being usable off-roads. So they'll be pretty neck and neck of what items they're going to be able to conquer when hitting the trails. Taking a look at the exterior styling, they both have this boxy design. We have the hardtops on them as well. Nice lines overall. You can tell they look like competitors. They definitely have a lot of similarities. And we also get the 5th tire in back full size for both SUVs. Quick look at the interiors now. Over on the Jeep, you can see the overall layout. Of course, this is all subjective, whichever one you like better. We have the 8.4-inch touchscreen right in the center. All the controls, the shifter, the manual shift select. And then we get 392 Rubicon on these leather seats. You can see the 2 removable pieces for the roof up front, and then everything else is all one piece going towards the back. A big difference over on the Bronco, this is actually a 4-piece roof. So we have the 2 pieces over the driver and passenger, and then a removable one over your rear passengers, and then the whole rear end is one piece. So that is a nice benefit you get in a Bronco. As far as the interior, pretty similar. Kind of retro looking. We have grab handles, cool materials. We get a much larger touchscreen display in this one, however. Then all the controls, we have a shift dial and drive modes, which you don't get in the Jeep. But nonetheless, you know, they both have a really cool design. So now, let's go ahead and hop in and see how they drive. All right guys, we are setting off now in the 392 Wrangler. Now, you've already driven one, I've never driven one. So one of the biggest differences, this is a faster vehicle, quicker 0 to 60, more horsepower and torque. And then of course we have a solid front axle. So already just comparing that aspect, this vehicle is going to be better at the crazy rock crawling because of articulation with the solid axle.
Yep.
So that's already a benefit. However, we've been in Texas in the off-roadeo with the Broncos. They are so capable. I think 95% of people, you're just not going to notice a difference as far as capability. So I don't think that's really something to worry about. The 5% of you who absolutely go crazy rock crawling, you probably want this instead of the Bronco.
Yeah, just because of that. For
the normal people, you know, I think on-road capabilities is pretty important to talk about. So with this visibility, I just got out of the Bronco doing a full detailed review. Pretty similar visibility.
It's about the same.
As far as just the way it drives, normal mode right now, it's pretty smooth actually. I'm surprised. I thought it would be a little bit worse.
I mean, it still handles like a Wrangler. It just has a bigger engine in it now.
Yeah.
So there's no performance upgrades for daily driving.
It's more just that straight line.
Slap in that engine, yeah, and you can do your 0 to 60. Turns are still going to be the same as a Wrangler. It's not known for being a good handling vehicle, but it's that Jeep life. Like everything else outweighs a little bit of how it drives. Not to say that's good or bad. I owned a Wrangler, and we love both of these vehicles equally, but we're going to pick them apart just a little bit.
So already I am finding the handling on this is not that good. It's pretty vague in the steering. A lot of body roll.
I mean, it's an SUV, or you know.
It definitely isn't the best in handling. Giving it power though.
Now the
just because it's still a pretty new vehicle, but that's peppy. That gets up to speed really nice. So now we have the performance exhaust on, and we have paddle shifters, which is ridiculous. However, that's actually pretty cool.
You might want to wait till we straighten out.
I will say, you get that V8 rumble. Oh my gosh.
I think it gives you a little bit more of that fun factor.
Ooh, I will say, accelerating in a turn is not the best.
Yeah.
It almost feels like you're turning, but the truck isn't. So steering is not that good in this. But honestly, this is sick. I like it.
I think the power, though, is going to be for those hardcore off-roaders who need that extra power getting up some rocks. You know, you don't want to necessarily have to re-gear your truck, but you want some more power so that way you can actually use it. It's going to be pretty practical off-road.
Yeah, I'm liking this better than I would expect because the sound it makes, you simply cannot get from the twin-turbo V6, which we're going to find out in just a few seconds. But you definitely get an awesome sound, and you get some power. It's quick. You just have Jeep handling, which is a little scary. So you want to drive back then, and you get your opinions, and then let's hop into the Bronco.
All right. So doing a quick U-turn, they're probably both going to be pretty similar.
Yeah.
With that, but we'll give it a little bit of gas. There we go.
It's got a really meaty power delivery.
Just doing a mild acceleration there. I think that definitely gives it more of a fun factor having that engine, because you're just going to hop in this and want to smash the throttle.
It makes you smile. Like, I'm definitely smiling a lot in this.
Yeah.
It's just, you have some scary handling just because you have a lot of power.
Yeah.
And then it's not a sports car whatsoever, and yet we have a sports car's engine, to be quite honest. So you get that fine balance of don't go too crazy with the engine because the chassis cannot handle it.
Right.
But off-roading, you have so much meat to handle maybe 40s even.
Yeah,
so,
the blue one that I drove had 37s on it already, so you could definitely up for that.
And being a Rubicon, you have the bigger axles and, of course, all the locking differentials, all that stuff. So you really have a solid power plant to hit trails and not have just zero worries about power delivery.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of it. And on the street, yeah, bad handling, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty sweet, actually. I like it. Pretty cool blend, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was actually going into this thinking I was gonna kind of not like this at all.
Really?
I like it better than I expected. Once you know, okay, don't take a sharp turn, which nobody probably planned on doing that anyways, but...
So, as I mentioned earlier, I owned a Wrangler, and I think I'm kind of leaning towards the Bronco now.
Really? So,
like,
how are we flip-flopping? Before, I think we were the other way.
We're flip-flop now. I'm excited to go in the Bronco.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good overview of this. Let's hop in the Bronco and kind of finish our opinions.
Yeah.
All right, we have flip-flop now into the Bronco. First off, this already feels a lot more comfortable to actually sit in.
It's a lot more luxurious feeling.
We have full power seats now versus the manual, which is kind of crazy. The Jeep still has manual seats for being, $100,000. The ride quality already, we do have Bilsteins on this. I don't know what the Jeep had. But this definitely feels much more normal, kind of like a Toyota 4Runner or like a Grand Cherokee. Not quite as refined as those, but already does feel a lot more solid as far as the quality, like the way it's the ride quality basically.
Yeah, I like it. It's probably about the same wind noise as well.
Yeah,
but
I'd say about the same.
The ride definitely feels a lot stiffer, even from the passenger side. Taking this turn here, feels like you're a lot more composed.
Wow, much more smooth. Yeah. And the turning, there's still a lot of body roll.
Oh, you can feel that.
This is still an off-roader, but it is way better. The steering is not that vague compared to the Jeep. I feel like I could actually make an abrupt maneuver and be okay. The Jeep, I'm a little terrified if I were to do an abrupt maneuver. So normal ride quality is going to be the biggest thing that you're going to like about the Bronco because it just has that normal aspect. And yeah, we can take the doors off, take the roof off, and you still get that crazy aspect. And then you still have all the off-road stuff like we've already mentioned. So capability-wise, like I said, I'm not really too concerned about that aspect aside from the hardcore rock crawlers. But driving it definitely feels a lot more like relaxed.
And I think I like just the overall interior too. The Jeep has been around for so many years.
Yeah.
They made some changes here and there, adding screens, but we even have the digital gauge cluster here. Like I feel like we have a lot more tech.
This feels brand spanking new. And then on some twisty turns now in this, like I said, this is much more composed. So I like how you get that normal aspect, like taking this turn and now powering out. Let's see what that's like. It's heavy.
Yeah, it doesn't have that V8 noise to to it.
It doesn't sound that good. It sounds more like a vacuum cleaner. We have a 10-speed instead of the 8-speed, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I think it's too many gears. You don't really feel the gear changes, but you can kind of just feel like, it almost feels like a CVT, how it keeps accelerating.
Yeah.
It's peppy, but it's certainly not as fast as the Jeep. And I know when we reviewed these and the other Jeep months ago, a lot of people were kind of picking this apart for not being as fast. But the Raptor Bronco, we don't know. I think that'll have a 3.5 in it.
That should be able to compete much more with that.
Yeah, but so far, you do lack now, which is funny because this just was so much better as far as like the composure. But now we're lacking that sound and that performance. It's not to say it's slow, because even the 4-cylinder is pretty quick.
Right.
But I'm missing the V8. I'm not gonna lie. So now let's switch seats and see what you think.
Well, back to the turning radius. Seems pretty much the same as you would expect. But yeah, now with the power, I mean, you can definitely feel that it's not as fast. There's not that excitement level of hearing the engine from that exhaust. It's definitely not as...
doesn't put a smile on when you accelerate.
Yeah, but I do like... I mean, I don't know. I love the driving position a little bit more. I feel like we're in a normal vehicle. You can see a lot more of the hood too. And just like the way the dash is and the windshield, it's a completely different driving position than the Wrangler.
Oh yeah, these seats are also you just feel better. The Jeep, you're just kind of like sitting in them and on the seats.
Right.
This, you're actually like inside the interior. So there's a big difference there.
Now, I owned a Wrangler for 6 months, so I can kind of pick apart the Wrangler because I owned one, I liked it.
And we spent 13 straight hours in one of these. So we know these pretty darn well.
And I think I would switch to the Bronco. Like, I love, for people who are buying these vehicles, 95 to almost 100% of the time, they're going to see the pavement. That's just, that's just the way it is.
Of the time.
Yeah, and so I think for that aspect of driving it on the road,
this really,
hands down, this is so much more comfortable.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that we have something that can compete with the Wrangler, because that's been the only vehicle, if you wanted to take the doors and the roof off, you get a Wrangler. Yeah. That's the only option that we ever had.
I will say the V8-ness in the 392 really makes me, like, I'm fighting to go towards...
You want that power?
I want that sound and that power, and the transmission, honestly. I want that so bad. But this just drives better. So it's that fine line of, can I take the scary handling, which is not that bad, but take the vague handling but get that insane V8? Like, that's just so cool.
I don't know. I mean, it would be cool if you get that and I'll get this, and then we can make comparison videos all day long.
And if they make, or when they made the Raptor of this, I don't know if it'll have the V8 or the EcoBoost 3.5 like the normal Raptors.
Yeah.
But if this had the V8 now, then we're talking about the perfect SUV.
Oh yeah.
But I think they're like so close, which is great that the competitor is that close to where we're like flip-flopping what we like, and we're like going like this.
So it just depends on what you're drawn to more.
I think
if you're that hardcore Jeep guy, you've always been a Jeep guy, or if you want to try the Ford.
I will say, as far as price though, this MSRP is around 60 grand. Today's market, this is like 90-something thousand dollars. The Wrangler 392 brand new is more
than around
this.
85.
So it is a substantially more expensive vehicle. In today's market, they're both about the same though. So they're both about 90 to 100 grand. So they are direct competitors in today's market. MSRP for MSRP though, you know, this is significantly less expensive. So I'm sure the Raptor will be right on par. And if it does have a V8, game over. But overall, is this better or worse? I feel like they're the same but different.
You have positives and negatives to any vehicle, really. So it's just what you decide is a positive or a negative, depending on the vehicle.
Personally, I would buy the Bronco because I'm going to use it on the road 99% of the time.
Yeah.
The 4 times I do off-roading in the year, this I already know can do so much more than I can do.
Yeah.
So I just don't need that. But my goodness, I want that V8. So I don't know if we have a conclusion. They're both really good, and people have commented on our videos of both of them, saying which way they think is better. And
they're both pretty much similar in practicality for back seats and any storage you need in the back too. So they're very similar interior wise almost.
But comparing kind of the biggest boy of this to the biggest boy of that, you get that performance and power in that car, and the sound is nuts. But you get a much smoother driving vehicle. So.
I think I would go with this. I had a Wrangler, so I would try a Bronco.
I want that one so bad. I don't know.
Maybe one day we'll have a comparison.
Both is the best answer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's it for today's video, though. This was sweet driving them back to back. Comment below. What do you guys think? Which one would you genuinely pick? I am so wanting that thing, but I like how this is more comfortable for what I'm actually going to use
Bronco
it for.
Yeah.
I don't even know. So anyways, huge shout out and thank you to Carolina Auto Direct. They have quite a few of both of these cars in stock, actually. They get some insane, nearly brand new premium cars, so check out their website linked below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, stay tuned for plenty more content to come. We'll see you guys in the next video.